Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am continuing making my Simplicity 8982 pattern, and this is the final video in this, I guess I should call it a series, of the progress and my process of making this pattern. You'll see the skirt is hanging up on my blue board, and I am now cutting out the pattern pieces to get the top made. When I started this cutting, I did not think I had enough fabric to cut the size I needed, and I actually had enough, so I'm thankful that I was able to get everything cut with this fabric. So right now you're watching me just do a simple transferring of the dots from my pattern piece to my fabric, and I think I found a better way to do this now, thanks to a video I saw recently by Mimi G. There is a punch tool that I went ahead and purchased, so when I get that in, I'm gonna start to use that as I begin to move forward in marking my dots on my fabric. And now I'm going to the other side of my table so I can cut out the second pattern piece for my top. Now it's time to cut the remaining pieces, which would be the neckband, the sleeve band, and the two arms. All right, guys, so I am done cutting out my fabric. Thank goodness. I am now ready to go into the construction phase of my simplicity pattern. I had to step out for a minute to drop the kids off at their youth Bible study event for the night, and I am ready to go ahead and start my construction. I'm so excited. I watched 3 videos of some ladies who made this this pattern, and again, I like having the visuals. The visuals really help me understand what I should look for when I start my construction, so I am going to be using those as a frame of reference as I get through this. But I'm excited to get this sewing started. So I'm looking around and I do not have my glass or my bottle of water, so I need to run downstairs to get my water, and so I can keep myself hydrated. And I probably have about an hour, no, not even, well, I think I have about an hour before the kids will be back in tonight. So I'm going to try to do as much as I can before they return home for the evening. So let's see what I can get done.
When you're doing buttons, okay, you're gonna get your buttonhole, okay? So the distance between the distance between where you put your buttons for your buttonholes, that's gonna change based upon how large your buttons are, okay?
So I like putting a stabilizer on my shoulders. That way it prevents them from stretching over time. That's a really helpful technique. And I thought I would use the hem tape I purchased from Joann Fabric, the lace hem tape. But when I took it out, it felt a little itchy, so I decided not to use that. So I decided to just use black ribbon instead. All right, so I have my shoulders sewn together, and I just decided to do a quick drape to make sure that I'm happy with the fit overall, and I think it's gonna fit just fine. Looks to be okay. And here's that ribbon stabilizer on the shoulder. Looks nice. I think I'm ready to keep moving on. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the neckband. So I don't do this all the time, but because the velvet tends to slip a little bit, I went ahead and measured out the 5/8 inch seam allowance to make sure my lines are straight. So here I am attaching the neckband to the collar and shoulders. This part took me a little bit of time, but I paced myself. I had to do quite a bit of pinning and repinning and pinning and unpinning and repositioning and all of those things, but I was able to get it done. Okay, now we're ready to sew the neckband onto the collar. Let's see how it turns out. Look at this neckline, y'all. I am so happy with this. So I had to do a basting stitch around the neckline first, and then after that I went ahead and attached it to the collar using a zigzag stitch. It was a little bit tricky because I had to do some stretching, but overall I love how this collar looks. I am so happy. This is probably one of the best collars I think I've done. You guys might remember when I tried to do my husband's shirt over the summer and I totally jacked up his collar. It was a hot mess. And I have never done a knit collar since, or knit, not a collar, but a knit neckband since then. And I am so happy that I got this one done. I like how it looks. I'm not sure if you can all see the back, but that's the back of it. Yes. So I am glad I stuck with the size I did, because had I gone smaller, it might be a bit snug. One thing I did notice when I did the basting stitch was that I thought I was going to be able to leave it in, but I realized with the basting stitch, I could not get this over my head. So there was no stretch because of the basting stitch. So once I took the basting stitch out, I was able to get it over my head, and so far I'm loving how this is looking. And just to quickly get this portion finished, I went ahead and sewed the sides together. And again, I'm happy with this fit. I think the next time I will lengthen this shirt, because once I put the hem in it, I'm going to lose some length there. And I did want this to be a little bit longer, but it's okay. All right, guys, so as the clip said, it's definitely several days later, and I have already cut out my sleeves. I've put all the gathering stitches in the sleeve cap and on the bottom of the sleeve, but I have to go back and cut out my armbands again because the armband was too big for my wrist, and when I tried to just cut it, I cut it too small. So now I have to go back and cut pattern piece. What pattern piece was that? That was pattern piece number, let me see on here. It was sleeve band pattern piece number 10. So I have to go back and recut pattern piece number 10, and I think I do have enough fabric to do that. I also noticed when I cut out the sleeve band, sorry for the glare or the shadow from my cell phone, but when I cut out the sleeve band, I noticed that the nap was going in the wrong direction, as was the stretch on the armband. So I need to, the sleeve band, sorry. So I need to go back and just do a recutting on those. So I'm gonna cut it down probably to a size 14, I think. I'm gonna do a quick tissue fitting around my wrist and see what that looks like. All right, y'all, so the sleeve band continues to be a work in progress. I need to figure out why my sleeve band continues to be way too big on my wrist. I decided to put that to the side for now and go ahead and try to sew on the first sleeve. I'm a little bit nervous to do this because I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I am going to go ahead and do my stitch. I thought about doing a basting stitch all the way around, but again, if I do a basting stitch, it has to be a straight stitch. I'm not doing a zigzag, and I'm not sure if I will be able to actually get this shirt on properly if I do a basting stitch. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a full-blown zigzag stitch with my machine settings, as you see it here, and I am going to pray for the best. Let's see how it turns out. This is the first sleeve attached. I got a little nervous when I saw these stitch lines here, but these stitch lines look like my basting stitch because they're long and they're straight. So I can take those out and that's okay. So I did try this on and I like the fit of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this second sleeve put in. Are y'all praying? I hope you are. All right, so both sleeves are on. As you can see, I've still got some basting stitches around here I'll need to take out, but it looks good. I would say this looks fine. I showed you those basting stitches earlier. You kind of can't see it because of the light, but some basting stitches here. I'll take those off. I just keep forgetting to put my label in my garments. I gotta remember to do that. I need to make sure that my labels come out when I take out all of my supplies and my notions when I'm sewing up items. But yeah, so this is the shirt so far. So I still have to figure out this daggone sleeve band that is driving me crazy because I don't have any more fabric left in this color, so I have to make what I cut for a second time work. So send all of your prayers up. But that's the other side that needs to get done. I've got strings everywhere, but I'll cut those off later. And I have to also do the hem on the bottom, which I know is probably going to drive me crazy because this fabric curls so much. But I did get a recommendation from So Lovely with Grace, and she suggested maybe using some stitch witchery. So I'm going to see if I have enough in my stash to help with the curling and me being able to get this hem flat enough that I can sew it and it look decent and not curly and messy. So that's all I have left to do, but I'm going to go downstairs and get dinner started for the night and then get the family settled, and then once I'm done that, I'll come back up and see how much more I can get done. I'm hoping I can knock this out tonight and be done. So let's give it a try. All right, guys, so I am going to call this a night. I am not happy with how my sleeve band turned out. I think I cut it wrong. I don't think I cut this the way I was supposed to cut it, and up on the inside I lost some of the allowance because I think the fabric kept slipping or something. But I don't know if I really like that sleeve, but I'm a call it a night. I'm tired, but for the most part it is finished. I still have to go and obviously take away, cut all those little threads. Yeah, so we'll see. I still need to go and take care of this hemline, but I'm tired. I cooked dinner, came back upstairs and got both the sleeves done. Yeah, I'm just not excited about the sleeve band at all. So just before I turn in, I want to talk about this sleeve band for just a little bit. So I am realizing that the more I sew, there are certain things that I know I need to modify. And I think I learned through this process that I will probably need to just make a template, a pattern for my sleeve bands. Whenever I sew a pattern that has a sleeve band, I probably need to just go ahead and create my own drafted pattern piece, because my wrist, as you can see, it's really, really small here, but then it gets bigger here. So when I cut this out, I cut the 14. The 14 was still big around here, but it got tighter here. So I don't know if that means I should have done the 14 and then graded out to the 16, or gone even smaller, maybe did like a 12 to maybe a 16, but this sleeve band was really problematic and it's like making me feel somewhat defeated because I was looking so forward to this top turning out like great. But I also feel like I did something wrong with just the layout of the pattern piece itself, because the stretch on the sleeve band it's still not vertical, it's horizontal. So the is that right? Yeah. So the stretch on the sleeve band should go around my wrist, but it's really going up and down my wrist. So there is something I did wrong with the sleeve band. Putting it together was not hard at all. That was pretty simple. It was just the fit of it and the sizing of it, and likely the layout that threw me off with this. So I am going to figure out a way that I can fix that sleeve band. And I'll show you all a picture of it before I attempt to fix it, so you can kind of see what it looks like on my arm. But it's just not what I expected. And because it's not what I expected, I really, really want to practice some more on some knit sleeve bands. I'm like literally sitting here. I need to go to bed, but I'm sitting here looking at my shirt. And that's all I can do right now. And laugh. Oh gosh. All right, so we're at the home stretch, and I promised I would show you all a clip of the sleeve. So there it is. It's a little too wide around my wrist, so I'll need to fix that. I am so glad to be done with this set. It's finished, finished, finished. The sleeve bands have been fixed. There are a few things I'm not so happy about, but overall, the look is okay.